episode 2 of Coast Football Weekly. This week's guest is Jorge Chavez, an extremely decorated WPL coach who returns after a year off to start a new chapter in his coaching journey, taking on the reins of Terrigal's WPL side in 2026. Welcome to the pod, Jorge Chavez.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So, new colours for this year. How are you finding life at Terrigal?
Yeah, new colours. I'm feeling good. The challenge is there. I was looking for a new challenge after I left. I needed a year off after coaching the last time. I felt like I was losing myself a little bit that year. I think I was losing my style and the way I want to coach. So I took a step back and I missed it way too much. So I came back and opportunity came up with Gosford and what they're trying to build there. We have a young squad again, testing myself in new waters. Let's see if I can do it again. Let's see what I can do at Terrigal. I think there's players there that can achieve greatness in there. We just get the systems in place and make sure we build.
You had quite the history with Terrigal in your last year at East Gosford. Was it a matter of if you can't beat them, join them?
Well, it's not really, because they're pretty much, it's a different squad. Like our squad is, I think half our squad is under 20-year-olds. Like I got 2 16-year-olds, 2 17-year-olds, 2 18-year-olds. So it's a completely different squad. A few of the experienced girls have come back, which has helped. But it was just an opportunity. And when I sat down with Tim and he just blew that meeting out of the water and it just goes, we want to try to build something, nurture the young ones, go through. We feel like you're the right coach. And I'm like, I'm excited. And it's important to be excited as a coach where you are. So I was excited with the challenge ahead. We did beat Terrigal anyway. So it wasn't like if you can't beat them, join them. But never thought I'll be at Terrigal, but here I am.
You had your first hit out in the Association Cup on the weekend. You actually faced your old team, East Gosford,
yep,
which finished in a 1-1 contest. What did you make of that fixture?
Yeah, going into it, there was a bit of emotions from me because it's my old club, but they've lost a lot of players, so it's not really the team that I had there a couple of years ago, so that made it a bit easier. But I respect a lot of the players that are still there, and even the young ones that come through. It was a good game, I thought. I think what you expect at this time of the year. I think both teams were missing key players. The game was a bit scrappy. It was fast-paced, though, so it was competitive enough. I think both teams will be thinking that they were a bit unlucky not to get the win, but also I think none of the two teams deserved to lose that game. So I think the 1-1 result was worthwhile. We had a debut in goals. My goalkeeper was 16 years old, so she did extremely well. So Lily did really well in goals. She kept Rabbit scoreless. Like Rabbit took some shots on her, and she goes after the game, the shots were pretty hard. I wasn't used to them going that hard, so I had to palm them down. Sorry about that. I'm like, no, you did perfect. Like you did really well for a 16-year-old. Her first game, Women's Premier League, to play up against an experienced East Gosford team. So, yeah, it was good.
And now most people know you as a pretty decorated WPL coach, but where exactly did your football journey start and your coaching journey?
So I guess I'm Latino, so football is when you're born. So football is in my blood.
Didn't have a choice.
Didn't have a choice, really. There was no cricket about anything else there. It was football, and that was it. I actually started playing when I was a bit late. I think I was 9, 10 years old I started playing. And then I stopped playing about 13 years old. The love of football came probably after the 94 World Cup, just watching the Colombian team play that was dominating down there. And they should have won the World Cup. And then watching Bebeto and Romario play and Valderrama, that's when the love of football came, I guess. And then I grew up in Western Sydney's in the 90s, and it was very hard for people that look like me or play the style of football that Latinos played back then to get opportunities in the MPL teams. And that was the main reason why I started coaching. I wanted to just give opportunities to people that I know came from my background. I could relate to them in Western Sydney. And that's why I coached at Granville Rage first. And a lot of fond memories for Granville Rage. First club I went to, just nurturing those kids, just teaching them about life, not just football. I enjoyed that part of it. So started there. Wasn't too bad at it. I went to Spirit FC, under 18 boys there. And then I was living on the coast. So I was traveling down all the time to the coast. So, and then it was getting too much. I had little kids and it was too much driving. So Mariners Academy, started coaching there with the assistant coach of the 18As. The Terrigal guy, Peachy. So there was a few boys there. You were there, but you were later.
Yep.
So I think the following year I went to under 15s. And then I took about a couple of years break after that.
Yeah, so I think I first met you in 2013 when you had me in the under 15s at the Mariners Academy.
Yep.
I think after that you had 2 years break, and then you popped back up again locally on the coast as a reserve grade coach for Gosford's WPL. What was the main reason behind that switch to women's? Was it something you always wanted to do? Was it having daughters that sort of influenced that?
I
Or
think having daughters influenced it, but it was never in the back of my mind. I didn't really have ambitions to coach women's football. But Mark Ewell was a patient of mine, and he said, "Hey, do you want to come help me do reserve grade coach? It's less politics, more relaxed than the rep football." And I said, "Okay, I'll turn up." And I actually enjoyed it because I felt the girls really appreciated it. They really appreciate having a decent coach and someone that wanted to develop them, put the players first. And I enjoyed the feedback from them. And then Yuli left the next year, and then I took over first grade. Yeah.
obviously no better time for women to get involved in the game. We've got the Matildas currently hosting the Women's Asian Cup on our home soil. How much has the game changed, the women's game changed since you first started coaching to now?
I think people were surprised. If you come and watch our games, you'd be surprised the level of skills in the female footballer. They can't rely on their speed and the physicality as much as men do, right? So their first touch has to be better. Like you look at players like Lucy, like her first touch is amazing. Like
Yeah.
So most of them the first touches are just awesome. So the skill is there, but I think now there's been more coaches involved in the women's space, and I think that's developed the tactical side of things. And there's been some good coaches in the Central Coast we challenge each other. And so you talk about Terrigal. Me and Gabby were just fighting each other for those points, but
Quite some battles throughout the years.
But it was like I always wanted to beat her, but I liked it. Like I like having her there. I appreciate
Friendly
her.
competition.
I appreciate her having there because from her and what she did, I learned. And same as other coaches, right? Other coaches around as well. So, Dave Hurley at the beginning when he was at the entrance, so he challenged me. The Camwell girls and their coaches, they're always very tactical. And I love that side of the game. So the Camwell girls always did something different or tried something different. And so I love that side of it.
Keep you on your toes.
It's like a chess game. So, yeah.
I mean, competition is good for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. You want to be showing up every week. You want to be competitive. You want to be earning those 3 points. You touched on a year after your coaching journey at Gosford, you were the first grade coach.
Yep.
You had some pretty good success that first year. I think it was an Association Cup final. And did you make the grand final also that year?
Yeah, we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
How was that sort of taking over the reins as a first grade coach?
Like when you have success, you have to pay attention to what's happened before then. And Mark Ewell had a good team and good structure, and the building blocks were already there. So I sort of took over, and they probably underachieved the last year before that. I just came over. A fresh face can sometimes change things as well. That squad was very young. We had a young Dom there, and we just gelled very quickly, and they took to my style of coaching, and the success at the beginning was amazing, and then we continued throughout the year. And I believe our goalkeeper had never played Women's Premier League before. I think she played football once, 1 year before that. So that was our goalkeeper for the season. And to finish second and to lose 1-0 in the grand final, I think that was a huge achievement that year. So I was proud of that.
And in 2018, a great year for you, treble winners.
Yep.
What about that squad was so good?
Again, we were together for a while, right? And we just added pieces, and we added. I think Gemma came that year, so she was captain from Manly, so she changed the dynamics a bit as well, gave a bit of less pressure on Lucy and stuff like that, and Dom just exploded that year as well. I think we won everything that year. So I don't know if that's ever happened, but we won absolutely everything. So the Association Cup, the league, the grand final, the Golden Boot, the league MVP, the Coach of the Year. So it was a special time.
Clean sweep.
Yeah, clean sweep. It was a special time, but it doesn't happen overnight. Like we just build that. We slowly built that culture there, and the girls is really the coach can sit here and say it was all me, but it was all the girls. They did the hard work. They believed in me. They believed in the structure we had, in the formation, in the tactics, and it paid off. So.
Now, that was almost 10 years ago. How would you say that squad holds up to the treble-winning clubs of recent times, your Killarney Vales and your Terrigals?
Yeah, I'm a bit biased, but I think every team has its merits. But I would say we beat them, like just quietly. Like we had a special year. It's the bond you had. Yeah, I think we back ourselves, but that's just me as a coach. I always back myself. Even when we played that game, what was it, a couple years ago? We played Apia down here in the Sapphire Cup.
Yes.
So I was all week. I was going to go. Why not us? Why can't we cross an upset? They're going to bring the young squad. They're going to bring the reserve graders. We can have a chance.
Mm. Magic of
And
the cup.
they turned up, and they turned up with all the like A-League players, whatever.
Mm.
Because I heard we won 9-0 the first game, 9-0 the second game, so they got a bit worried.
They didn't want to take
They
any
turned up and
chances.
we're like, oh my God, look at her. Oh my God, look who's turned up. Look who's turned up. And then I think we're down like 6-0 or something after 40 minutes. And then at halftime, I remember someone goes to me, man, you had me excited. I thought we had a chance. And I'm like, well, I thought we did, but they brought the stars down. So
And so following 2018, you had a 2-year break, and then you returned as a East Gosford coach this time.
Yep.
What was the reason behind that decision between the break and then coming back as a Ram?
So background is East Gosford is our club, right? So my boy and my girls have played East Gosford for ages, right? Since they were under sixes. So I was always there. And then I felt, again, after 2 years, I felt like I want to go back, but I want to try something different, see if I can start from scratch. And there was an opportunity at Gosford, which is really similar to the opportunity that I have now at Terrigal, to build something there, to build something up. And I enjoy the building process of it. Like I always tell my players, like, yeah, winning grand final is great, but you got to enjoy the process and what we get out of it. And that's probably more important. So that's how I ended up at East Gosford. And first 2 years was COVID, so it was a bit all over the place. And then settled down. Then we're going to a strive and just build it slowly, like you meant to. Just build it slowly, and then the rewards come.
You're at a new club now, but do you feel like you achieved everything you wanted to at East Gosford?
Yeah, I think I did achieve everything I wanted to. East Gosford. We didn't win the league, but it didn't really bother me too much, really. I think I achieved all I wanted to achieve at East Gosford. I now look at the new challenges and you know, my sister actually said to me, like, she goes, God's closed the door, open another door. You're meant to be there. You're there to help other girls, other people in that club. So that's why I'm there.
And so at East Gosford, first ever coach to make semis, first ever coach to make the grand final, and first ever coach to win a grand final for the Rams. So created a lot of history for that club. How does that sort of compare to what you achieved at Gosford? Is it rank higher or below, or is it just all part of the journey?
It ranks high there. It ranks up there, right? Like, to be the first one to achieve that. And again, you're talking about you're the first one, but it was a team. Like, it wasn't just me. Like, I had people supporting me, like all my assistant coaches, you know, M Bell helped me so much, and Bell helped the culture in that club. So you need to have the right people. Like, a lot of people think success comes by just having the players, and that's a big part, but there's multiple pillars that have to be aligned. Like, you need a decent coach, you need the right players, you need the right culture, you need the right support staff. Without that, you don't achieve anything. So but I hold it up there. I guess, you know, Gosford, that team always has a special part in my heart, but then achieving that at East Gosford was huge. Like, when you think about it, like, so congratulations to us as a whole club, really.
There's a lot of love still there for East Gosford. Is returning to Hilton Mall this year with Teragle one of the fixtures you're most excited for? One of the ones you're looking forward to the most?
I would lie if I say I don't want to beat my old club, but at the same time, there's a lot of emotions there too, like I said. But they've lost a lot of players this year, so it's not the same squad I had. There's still a lot of girls there that I admire, and I have a place for them in my heart as well, you know. So, but like any coach, you just want to win any game. Doesn't matter who you're playing against. But it is going to be special going back. There's going to be a little bit of feelings there, I think. But because I don't think I've done that with Gosford. Can't remember. I think that COVID year I might have played them once.
Yeah, but they're sort of, well, they're obviously now in Division 1, but been in and out of WPL.
Yeah, I've never gone back and played exactly the team that I've left. Does that make sense? So it's a different squad. So that makes it a bit easier, I think.
And now looking forward to this year and the future, why was Terrigal the right decision for you in this moment and for your sort of the next step in your coaching journey?
Yeah, like I said, I missed it too much and I wanted to go back coaching. I approached Nugget and the Rams to see if there was an opportunity there. Around the same time, the Terrigal opportunity came up. Emma Powers approached me, and I coached her back in the days in Gosford. So out of respect, I took that meeting. I was impressed with what they wanted to achieve at Terrigal. I thought the challenge was there. And then at the end, that was the offer I was given, and I've taken it, and I'm excited because it's a young squad, and it's exciting at training because the young squad brings a lot of energy to training sessions and a lot of competition for spots and stuff, and they're like sponges. I want to learn, and I'm like, oh great, I can teach you a few things. Like I can't do it physically, but I can tell you how to do it and tactic wise and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying the challenge. So I think that was the main reason the challenge was there.
Now, you mentioned Gab Blanche earlier on. So 2 years ago, for those who don't know, Terrigal won the treble under Gab, and then she found an opportunity in Newcastle to go coach. Took a lot of plays there. So last year for Terrigal sort of served as like a rebuild. Obviously, lost very very influential and veteran players. They were a very young squad. You're obviously taking that over now. So what are your sort of goals for the season ahead?
Well, we've had a few girls come back, some experienced girls come back, so that's helped that squad, I think. And I think last year, what they did last year is help the young ones to bleed them through a little bit. Now with a few experienced players around, you could probably take the next step, and that's what we're looking for. So our aim is to for the fourth spot. We're going to make our aim is to make the top four. Like everyone's, that should be aim, everybody. So we're trying to make that top four, and once you get to semis, anything can happen. So I think from what I've seen so far, and we've only played 3 games, really, one competitive game, there's enough talent at Terrigal that we should be pushing for those top 4 spots. That's what I think.
And now Terrigal being one of the biggest clubs on the coast, much like East Gosford, is there many differences between when you first entered East Gosford as a club to now entering Terrigal?
I guess I was more familiar with East Gosford because I've been there for like 10 years with my sons and stuff and my daughters. So there was that similarity there. But they've all welcomed me at Terrigal. I'm starting to meet people each week, new people each week. We're going to get the 18s to train with us this week. And then we've got a lot of the girls from the Premier League going to go and coach the younger girls. So again, we're just trying to not improve, but just build on that culture that's there and make sure that the young ones know who the Premier League players are, so they can aspire to play for them. Like I remember when I was at East Gosford, I remember a little girl came up and goes, "Oh, I don't want to play for the Mariners. I want to play for first grade for the Rams." Because she was 12 years old, and she goes, "I want to go to that." That's what we're going to help. Like if they go to the Mariners, great. That should be a pathway. But if you can't, they should have aspirations to play for our first grade team. And the more they know who they are, the better that culture is built. So.
Well, you hear a lot of coaches talk about culture and how important culture is at a club. Obviously, that's something you're trying to build there at Terrigal. They got a lot of juniors, and their women space in football is quite good. Do you think the culture is why they've had such good success and you're able to sort of attract players back to the club?
Yeah, I think from what I've seen so far, Terrigal, the way they run the club is very professional in that sense. They've got the coaches picked very early on. They've got the squads picked very early on. They start training really early on. I think that builds that competitiveness in that squad and continues to build year after year. So I think they're doing that really well. Like I said, we're just going to make sure that it's harder because it's a bigger club. So you've got more teams and more people to get involved with, right? If you're a small club, you can show your face, everyone knows you, but there's going to be a bit more engagement. So that's what I'm hoping for this year from our girls, to be a bit more engaged with the juniors, let them know who we are, let them know that we care about them, and they are our future. So,
and speaking on WPL, there you do see quite a lot of player movement year on year. I feel like East Gosford's one of the teams in recent years that have stuck together and sort of keep their sort of core players year on year out. Was there any sort of reaching out to any East Gosford players to sort of attract them over to Terrigal, or?
So I never have done that. And when I went from Gosford to East Gosford, and then when I went to Terrigal, I sat down and I'm saying, look, you're signing me. You're not signing any of my ex players, right? So I come by myself. There's no package. That's fine. If someone finds the way to the club, then that's on their doing, right? But this year I did have holes in my team, so I did approach 2 girls, I think 1 or 2, and I said, look, I just heard rumors. If they're true, I'm open.
Yep.
I'll be stupid not to ask you to come because I need that position filled.
Yeah, yeah.
If you come, great. If you don't, I apologise. I don't mean no hard feelings, blah blah blah. And then to the credit, they stayed against Gosford. So
how would you say your squad is shaping up for 2026?
Shaping well. We're training hard. We're learning things. Again, it's everyone's a little bit different. So the style of football and what we want to play, and my style of football can change a little bit depending on the players that you have. So we've got a lot of pace in our team. So I've got to see how we can get the most out of that. There's excitement there from young girls. So I think we're shaping up really well. I think we'll be thereabouts that 4th spot at the end of the year.
After having a year off, were you keeping in touch with the league last year? Were you keeping on top of fixtures? Who's winning?
It was hard because because then I'll miss it too much straight away. So it was a bit hard. But the only games I watched was the East Gosford Killarney games.
Yeah,
I think I might have missed one or two. But I saw the cup final.
I
I watched that one. And I watched one of the season ones, and I watched the final one. So I watched those, but I didn't. I try not to keep too much because then I'll miss it too much. But at the end of the day, I did miss it too much. So
But you still, I believe, coached your son last year,
I was helping out.
helping out.
So yeah, so Dylan was the head coach, and I was helping out where
So
I
sort
could.
of scratching that itch, but not
Sort
fully.
of, but you don't have like a full squad. It's different as well. It's different as well when you have a full squad and you're fighting for something.
We took to socials to let people know that you're coming on today, and we got a few fan questions. I picked out a
Oh,
few.
excellent.
So, first one: how has your coaching style changed over the years?
I think my style has stayed pretty true. Like I like possession football, but with intent. So you need to keep possession of the ball, but looking to score goals. Like look at my records. Like the teams that I've coached, I think I've had top goal scorers nearly all the seasons, and we've scored a ton of goals. I think one year we scored. I think that 2018 we scored over 100 goals, and so it's always about it's the love of the game. I believe football is a way to express yourself. Like you can't be too robotic. Like I tell my players, look, in defense, you do what I say. In attack, you express yourself. In attack, you take a play on. You take a play on. Yeah, but defensive structure is important. And then in the final third, you do what you want. We want you to dance. We want you to dribble the ball. We want you to shoot. We want you to score goals. So it hasn't changed too much my style. Even from men's to women's, I think it stayed pretty similar.
Yep.
But you just gotta your formation changes and you tweak it depending on the players you have. You can have the player that can play that, and you play a little bit different, or the player or the team in front of you. If they challenge your tactics, and you got to change that. But my style stayed the same. It's just possession with intent. Yeah, that's how I will say.
Touching on that, obviously, when you were at East Gosford in your final years, you were obviously a heavyweight in the competition. You sort of be arrogant to sort of change week to week depending on your opposition because you probably were better than most.
Yep.
You feel like this year you're going to be looking at it more differently. If you think you're coming up against a stronger opposition, looking to change how you play to sort of better the result, or do you sort of stick to how you play no matter what the opposition?
That's a good question because I thought about that this year because normally players that know me, I don't pay too much attention to the opposition. I want to see what we're doing and doing well, and I believe that we are good enough to win that game. And I think we'll get there at Terrigal, but like you said, it's a building, and we're trying to get things going. So I will tweak things around depending who we're playing. There's some. I mean, Diaz is back, right? So you got to really change your game for that. Kate Umina was at my Kate. You got to change a little bit there as well. But I think your fundamentals stay the same, but you might just change a few little things here and there. Doms against you, what we're going to do there. Do we man mark? Do we do this? So things will be tweaked, maybe a little bit more than past years as we start to build. We've got a young squad, and it takes a while to learn your formation and your style of play. So I think there will be a bit of tweaking this year.
Another question we had was sort of two that are very similar, but I'll put them all together. Top 4 predictions, and if you had to guess the grand final, what 2 teams do you think would be in the grand final?
So I think I think each squad is different this year. I think from last year, from what I've seen, I didn't see too much of the other teams last year, so I can't talk too much. But I think Kalani's gone stronger with Thackeray, so I think it's Kalani's to lose. They should go undefeated.
Yeah.
They should go undefeated again. If you've added Thackeray to that team and they're very well structured, I think they've got experience all over the park, right? I think all of them have played above.
On paper, they're definitely the team to beat once again.
Yeah, so I think they're going to be hard to beat. But we love football. This is why we love football, right? You're just going to make the top 4, and then finals football, anyone can win. If that didn't happen, then we would hate the sport, but anyone can win then. So I think Kalani will be top. I think East Gosford still showed really good signs on the weekend, so I think they'll be hard. I haven't seen the other teams, so I don't know. But I'm hoping we make the 4th spot or the 3rd spot, and we go from there.
Mm-hmm. And now this sort of is a play one that's also had a few like this, but I'll put them together again. Who's the best player you've ever coached in the league, and who do you think is the best player you've seen in the league? It could be the same player.
Oh, that's a hard one because I appreciate so many players, but you can't go past Dom, who's scored a ton of goals and special human as well. So Dom's up there.
I think she's currently 2-time back-to-back player of the year and Golden Boot winner. So
you can't
accolades speak for themselves.
You can't go past that, and whether you like it or not, she scores goals and she changes games. I think Thackeray's one that does that as well, that can change games. I love Lucy. I like just her style, just her calmness on the ball. So I appreciate it. And I never played at this level football. So when I went to trainings and see some of these players at training. I'm like, wow, how amazing is that? How good is that? Like, did people know there's this talent here on the coast? You can add Emily Diaz to that. I think she's dangerous. I think she's probably the best striker if she's on her game. Finishes with both feet, tenacious, fast. She's right well up there as well. I've never coached her though. So, but yeah, I think I like Rabbit as well. I mean,
There's quite a big talent pool.
yeah, and Grace, like a centre back. And there's special people in the competition. It's hard to pinpoint one, and I'm sorry if I missed one, but they're the ones that come to the top of my head. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially watching last year, I feel like attackers obviously they get more talked about, especially if it's in write-ups or just if they're on the score sheet. But watching Lucy Metcalf last year, unbelievable player, goes about her job.
Yeah, she did
true
well.
leader.
Yeah, grand final, she just did her job. Did her job, just marked Dom out of the game, I reckon. So she did. When you see that and you see Grace is another one, like coaches notice. Or your number 6 is super important. Like, especially the way I play, if your number 6 has to be very good. And going back to Gosford days, we had Nikki back then, who again wasn't talked about, blah, 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 but did her job. Did her job well. As a coach, you admire that too. So, yeah.
Now, the grade draw is getting released this week. It'll be out by the time this podcast is live, but I've actually got the opening round fixtures that I'll go through with you today, and you can give me your thoughts.
Yep.
First, I'll go through the NPL fixtures. So we've got 4 Saturday night fixtures. So we've got the 2025 League Champions, Budgie Boy. They welcome newly promoted Gosford City to their ground under their new lights. We've got the Ash Grant Cup. We'll see Killarney versus Terrigal at Edzak. Berkeley Vale play Wyoming at Mingara, and the reigning premiers Southern host Arimba. And the following day on the Sunday, Umina kickstart the NPL campaign at home against the mighty Camel Bulls. Now, WPL opening round fixtures on the Saturday the 11th, the season opener, we have Southern hosting Kingcumber. That's Tamar will be going up against his new club, his former club. Sunday, we see the entrance welcome Umina to Pat Morley. We've got a grand final rematch from last year. East Gosford, they'll host Killarney. And then the final fixture that leaves Terrigal at home against Camel. What are your thoughts on that opening round fixture?
Yeah, very good games. They're all going to be very competitive games, I reckon. It'd be a good challenge to see who's where, but they're good fixtures. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, there's great fixtures all around. Yeah. So we're in for an exciting year. Is there anything else you'd like to share on the pod?
No, I think that was pretty good. Nothing more. No big news like last week. Sorry, no major signings.
No, we'll find some clickbait, I'm sure. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. We wish you all the best, and Teragle all the best for season 26. So thank you very much for coming on, George.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Coast Football Weekly. As always, if you have enjoyed this episode, please sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and to leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll catch you next week for another episode.